Okay, three life cycle phases we have. Those are mounting, updating, and unmounting. Right? As part of mounting, we saw the methods like what are the methods that it is going to be invoked. Then mounting phase occurs. Okay, the mounting phase is nothing but creation of the React component, and the same is inserting into the DOM. Right? This process we called as a mounting. So next, the mounting methods, right? So we know the constructor is the first and foremost method where we use it to initialize the state, props, refs, any method bindings we use it to do in case of constructor. Next we have get derived state from props. Okay, so this method will be called before render the component. It has the props and state it will pass. If we want to update any state, right, we can update by passing from this method, by returning the object from this method. Next, we know the render method. This is the most important. So by using this method, we can return any UI output to the DOM. So this is the place where we should not update the props and state. Right? Just we have to use the props and state to derive our UI. Next, we have the component did mount. Right? Component did mount will be useful to make the network requests. By using this method, we can set or update the state inside of the component did mount. Okay, next we have updating. Right, updating is the another phase, right? So when the updating is going to start, whenever we will try to update the state and props of the component is going to change. Okay, suppose if we have a parent and child component, so in that case, from parent, if we pass the props to the child components, then this automatically updates the component. So as part of this, it will call these update lifecycle methods. Okay, so the first one is the derived state from props. Next, this one deprecated. Next, we have should component update. So if we want to stop re-rendering, so right, we can do it by returning false from this method. So if we return true, it automatically re-renders. So by default, always it returns true. If we want to do any customizations based on the props that we receive, if we want to stop re-rendering, we can return false from this method. Okay, next we know the render method. Right, render, this is the UI, it will returns to the DOM. Okay, next we have get snapshot before update. Okay, this method is going to be called after render, and it will have the updated state and props, whatever we updated it, those will come to this method as a properties. Okay, we can say these properties are previous state, comma, previous props and previous state. Okay, so what is the previous state and previous props that we have in the component that we can see in this method? Okay, so okay. Next we have component did update method. Okay, the component did update method will be called immediately after the get snapshot before update method is invoked. Okay, so also the component did update method will receive the two arguments. What are those? Previous props and previous state. Okay, whenever we return anything from the get snapshot before update method, right? So automatically the snapshot view will be the third parameter to this method. If we are trying to return anything from the get snapshot before update. Next we have the component did update only. Okay, so the most common use case for the component did update is whenever we want to update the DOM in response to the prop or state changes. This is the best place to update the state. So then automatically it will re-render the logic. So in case of the component did mount, this will call only once whenever the component gets created, or we can say in the mounting phase. But in case of component did update, it will call whenever we update the any state or props. Right? So assume we are trying to get some information, okay, which depends on the network call or something. So in the component did update, we can write that logic based on the props that we receive from earlier to the current one. Okay, we will see the example. You will understand those.
Okay.
Okay, next. Okay, next I will go to unmounting. Later, we will go to the examples. Okay, so unmounting is nothing but whenever the component is going to detach it from the DOM, right? That time this phase is going to be occurred. Okay, as part of this phase, we have one method called component will unmount. Component will unmount method is there. Okay, so what are the use cases that we can have to be written in case of the component will unmount? Okay, so if we want to do any cleanup activities, right, those we can do it in case of the component will unmount. Okay, cleanup activities, and also if we have any timers, right, we can clear the timers, and also if we want to do any network request, if we want to cancel them, we can do it here. Okay. Next, if we want to remove any listeners, so for whatever we added, those we can do it inside of this unmounting or the component will unmount phase. Okay, assume for an element we added the listener. Okay, component did mount. Okay, how we can add the listener? Any idea? Okay, by using the add event listener, right?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So if we want to remove this listener, right? So when we want to remove this listener, so whenever our component is going to be detached from the DOM, so the best place is the component will unmount. Okay, so element dot remove event listener. So these are the life cycle phases and the related methods. Okay, first we will see. Okay, first I'm trying to create Okay, one class called parent. Okay, before that it has a child component. Okay, we will see how the methods that will call in case of the parent-child relationship of a component, right? So first I will create a folder called components. Okay, folder name parent.js. Sorry, file name. Another component child.js. Okay, so now parent class parent extends react dot component, right? We have to import React. Okay, now constructor, right? Super we have to call it. Okay, console.log constructor of parent class. Okay, so what is the next method we have? Render it. Okay, I can write console.log. Okay, parent render method. Okay, next I'm going to return parent component. Okay, next component did mount, right? Okay, console.log. Okay, parent class component did mount. Okay, what else we have? Okay, get derived state from props. We can write it. Okay, I will come to this one once we have done with the example. Okay, so actually, okay, let me rename this to child. Okay, next we have component will unmount, right? Console.log. Okay, next we have component did update, right? Okay, so what it is going to take? It is going to take previous props and previous state. Okay, I'm going to do console.log in child component did update method. Okay, so console.log previous props. Paste it. Okay, next I'm going to copy the same and put it in the parent.js. To replace all. Now, from the parent component, I'm going to call my field component, right? Slash, sorry, parent field, right? Did I export it? Field component. Export. Okay, let me export to the parent. So now, if we are going to call the parent component from app component, now what will happen? First, which component is going to be constructed? Parent or child?
Parent.
Okay. Which render method is going to be called first? Parent is not defined. Let me import parent. Import parent from okay, so in console okay, so what is the order that we created, right? That matters, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you see, we called the parent from app component, right?
Yeah.
So immediately what happened? The parent one constructed, parent component. So that's why we are seeing the constructor of parent class, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Next, redirect. Get derived state from props. Okay, I will return null. Okay, so let me clear this. Now I'll refresh it. Now what happened? First, it is trying to construct the parent class. Right? Next,
Yeah.
it is trying to call the get derived state from props prior to our render method. Right?
Yeah.
Next, in render method, it saw the child tag, right? Child tag. You can see
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Okay, whenever it finds the tag, it is trying to construct the child, right? Construction of child component. Next, after that, after render method, initial render, it is trying to call the component did mount method.
Okay.
Correct? Component did
before
mount of. Yeah.
Before get derived
Yeah.
state only, there is a child component, right?
Correct. So you can see the order of this one. So child construction of child class called. Next child render method called. Next after that component did mount of child one called. Observe.
Yeah.
Next it called the parent class component did mount. Correct? Okay, in this way the order of the methods is going to be happen. Okay, but now we have the component did update and component will unmount. That component did mount method will be called when? This method when it is going to be called? Component did mount method. Whenever, first time, right? Okay, first time only. I mean to say whenever the component is trying to construct and trying to re-render, trying to attach to the DOM, okay, then that time only this component did mount method is going to be called. Okay, so far we didn't update the any prop and state inside of any of the component, correct? Observe?
Yeah.
So what will happen? So is it going to call the update related methods? No, right?
No.
Now what I am trying to do? I am trying to add some state here. Okay, this dot state is equal to color red. Okay, I am trying to update the component. Okay, this dot set state, right, color yellow. Okay, in my color is okay, this dot state dot color. Okay, now can you tell me what should be the value displayed in the color? Red or yellow? Okay, so it is immediate red. That's why you won't be able to see the color is red. But it is trying to have the color red. Then after that,
Okay. I did. Yeah.
in component did mount, we updated the state red, color yellow.
Yes.
So that's why it is trying to have color value as red. Okay, so in case of the if you see this is the constructor of parent class, parent render method. Next it saw the child tag, so it is trying to construct it. Then immediately render method is going to be called, right? After render method, what is the actual method it is going to be called? It should call the get derived state from props. If we don't define, it won't call. Otherwise, it is going to be called. So component did mount of child method called. Okay, then parent class component did mount. Since the rendering part has not completed here, right? Unless and until the child rendering is completed, then only this rendering part will completed. That's why we will be able to see the component did mount of child class prior to the parent class. Understood?
Okay.
Yeah. So next we saw the parent render method and child render method. Since we updated the state, right?
Yeah.
So you can see, then it is trying to call the in child component update method. Okay, again trying to call the parent component update method. Understood?
Yeah. Okay.
Since we updated the state from color to yellow.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm trying to open this one React Lifecycle. You can see in most of the lifecycle pages we will see only one method, right? But in React we'll have the same methods in the different lifecycle. Correct? Yeah, in render phase, first mounting, updating and unmounting. Constructor get derived state from props, should component update, render, get snapshot before update, React updates DOM and refs, and the component did update and component did mount. Okay, in this way the order is going to be called. So when update happens, whenever any props, new props came, any set state happened, any force update happened, in that case the render method is going to be called. Okay, whenever we are going to detach the component from DOM, this method is going to be called. Okay, now what I'm going to do, right? So I'm going to pass one prop to this child component. Okay, this. So constructor props. So props, right? So what I'm going to do now in my child component, this dot props dot some name. Okay, I'm going to pass this name from my parent component. How we can pass name? Name is equal to name, right? Okay, I'm going to create a let name is equal to the property one. Okay, now we can see the property one value, right? So now what I'm going to do, I will try to update this property 1 to property 2. How I can do it? Okay, so I will save this in state, right? This dot state have name. Okay, it contains the property 1. Okay. Now I'm going to pass this dot state dot name, right? So now I'm trying to update this name from property 1 to property 2, right? How I can do it? I can update here, right? For time being. Okay, now you saw the result as a property 2, correct? Now we have a life cycle method, right? What is that? Should component update, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to overwrite this method and I will return as a false, right?
Okay.
Should component update. Okay, now can you tell me what you are going to see in case of the value? Observe.
Okay. Yeah.
So it is not going to change the component even if we update the state and props, correct? Clear, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So next we have the component did mount we covered. Component will unmount. Okay, I will come to the component did update again now. So first time being, we will see an example on the component will unmount. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one new component. So, otherwise in parent only, I will have one component called hello.js. Okay, so what it is going to do, it has a class hello. Right. Okay, extends react dot component. Now input react from react. Right, now what I'm trying to do, I will return one hello, some message from this component from my render method. Okay, render. Okay, return h1 hello component. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one method called component will unmount. Correct? So this component will unmount is going to be called when the component is going to be unmount from the DOM, detached from the DOM. Okay. Console.log of component will unmount from hello component. Okay, so Now in parent component, I will call this hello component, right? Okay, this dot state dot, okay, result. Okay, if result is true, I'm going to call the hello component. Okay, if it is false, I don't want to call it. You remember a ternary operator?
Yes.
Okay. So like this. Okay, so for this I want to create a button, right? Okay, button type is equal to button, right?
Yes.
Okay, on click of this button, okay, I want to call one method called update result, right? First result have two. Okay, we have to bind this to this method. This dot update result dot bind this. So now what I will do, right? If a result is true, I will make it false. Okay, it is something we can make it as a show or hide. That is the better, right? So what we can do? Is visible, I will create, right? I didn't use here. Only this is the place. Okay. Update visibility, right? Okay. Show, right? So if this dot state dot is visible is true, but I will hide it, right? This dot set state of is visible false. If it is true, I will make it false. Otherwise, we can. Okay. Else, this dot set state of is visible true. Any doubts so far?
No.
No, right? Yeah. Okay. So update visibility will update. Okay. By default, it will show. Right. So now hello is not import it. Okay, I will export it. Create visibility is not. Here we have to call this dot. Okay, fine. So now it is showing the component, right? Correct?
Yeah.
On click of that, it will hide it. Okay, so by default we are showing, right? So the button is not proper. It should show the text as a hide, right?
Yeah.
How we can do it? We can do it, right, by using ternary, correct?
Okay.
So what is the condition we have to use? If it is visible, we have to make it this dot is visible, right? Correct.
Yeah.
So now hide hello is showing, correct? So whenever it is true, we have to tell them to hide it. If it is not visible, show hello.
Sure.
So now what happened? Whenever I click on it, hello component is detached from the DOM, right?
Yes.
So that time, which method is going to be called? Component will unmount, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can see here. Right, so hide hello. Now it is showing hello component, right? Now if I click on hide hello, it will call you the component will unmount from hello component.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we are not doing any update on the child component, correct? So that's why no child components related console logs you will be able to see. Correct?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So next example, we'll see the component did mount. Okay, did mount and component will update, right? So this one, component did update. Okay, so the component did mount will be called whenever the component is going to be mounted, right? Only once, right? This method is going to be called. But the updating component did update method is trying to be called whenever the any state or prop is going to be updated.
Yes.
Okay, now what we are going to see. Okay, I have a project component, right? So in that project component, I want to show the list of projects of 2 persons. Okay, assume we have project component. Okay, so here we have two buttons. Okay, Alice and John. Okay, so on click of this button, I will show the list of projects which are relates to this person, right?
Yeah.
So for this, I have one more component called project list. Correct? So what it will do? It will show the list of projects. Okay, list of project 1. Yeah, something like this, right? Project 2. Okay. So I want to show the list of projects related to whom based on the person, right? So what I'm going to do, I will send one property, right, to my project list.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that property? We can call that property as a name of the person, right, or the client name. Correct? Whenever we will send the client name, it has to show the list of projects to that related to that person, right? So now this is a requirement. So how we can do it? We know up to here, right, how to create the two buttons, right, Alice and John, and it has a state variable. By default, it has a state called empty state, right,
Mm-hmm.
with the client name. Correct?
Okay. Yeah.
So whenever I click on this button, right, I will update this state as a Alice or John. Okay, the same state variable I will send as a prop to this project list.
Okay.
Right, so what I'm going to do, so first we'll create a project, right, or list of projects, whatever we want we can create. So first project list dot js. Okay, class project list extends component, right? Extends react dot component. Okay, so import react from react. Right, now we need constructor. Since we have some state, right, this dot state is equal to client name empty. Okay, so for it now in render method I'm going to return some one project information. Okay, if right, this dot state dot client name is empty, right? So what I'm going to do, okay, this dot, sorry, please click on client name button to get info, some details, right? So now I'm going to create two buttons. Allies or Bob projects. Now I'm going to export this. Hit export default project. Okay, I will make it as a project. Okay, so this one I will create it as a project list. So first I'm going to have a call to the project. Okay, we have to input project from okay, so what happened? Okay. Are we there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So LIS projects and DRDS. Okay, now we can see the please click on client name button to get the info, correct? So now Now on click of this, what I'm going to do, on click is equal to, I'm going to call one method. We have to write it in. Okay, set client name, right? Realize. Following, right? Okay, Bob. Now, what I'm going to do, this dot set client name, right? Is equal to this dot set client name dot bind of this, right? Now we have to implement the set client name, right? Okay, this dot set client, sorry, set state client name colon whatever we will receive from this method, correct?
Yeah.
This dot bind of this properties CLI, same, that's okay. Now if you see on click of that, we won't be able to see this information since we have the client name inside it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want, you can display the some name like within single quotes. Okay, showing the projects of this dot state dot client name. Correct? Understood it? Now we have to pass this client name to project list. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So now what I'm going to do, I will create one object, simple object. So projects, right? Okay, what it contains? I think I can create two things. Okay, can I access? Okay, we'll see the projects I created it. So for this, I will do the name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Li. I will give some array of projects. Some okay, some names just. Okay, these are some names, right? So now, okay, project details I can say, right? So on click of, okay, we have the no need of, right? This dot prop of name, right? Okay, we are sending the client name as a property, right? For this project list. Okay, so the client name or client name, I'm going to check, right? This dot props dot name, I'm going to give as a name. Okay, this dot props dot name projects dot, right? Are you following? So what this that will give? This method will give the array, right? Okay. Now this is okay, now I will call the project list. Right, project list name is equal to what is the name? This dot state dot client name. Clear, right? I'll import this project list. Can export it. Right. What happened? Dot slash. Cannot read map of undefined. Okay, fine. So okay, by default the props dot name will have which one? Empty, right? So let me debug it. We have here control sources, right? Control Q. Option project list. Okay, so if you see this dot props will have a empty, right?
Yeah.
So projects we have these two, Alice and Bob. But projects of this dot props of name, what will have? No value, right? In this projects object. Correct? So what we have to do? We have to do some condition here.
Hello?